Fine Superlite slant bar razor. Let's check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to another shaving video, and today I'm going to be talking about the new Fine Superlite slant bar razor. This here is the box for this razor, and it's had a lot of hype behind it, and I'm really excited to be checking this out. And the razor here, it is actually a plastic polymer razor, very light razor, but it does have a slant bar, which is super cool. I'm going to go ahead and get started right away by putting in the blade and everything for this, because people might be curious about it. It is a 3-piece razor, okay, handle, and then the top cap and base plate. It's put together very firm, so it kind of took a little bit to get out. And it is plastic, but the post that holds the blade is metal. So I'll get my blade here, and one thing I've noticed about it, as I've just tried putting in a blade once or twice before getting on camera, is that once it gets on, there's not a whole lot of play. The posts are pretty form-fitting to the actual DE blade. So I'll put that cap on there, and like I said, there's not going to be too much room to adjust this thing, because it's pretty firm in there. So yeah, you really can't move it around at all. So get it tightened in. So people have commented about the click. When you first kind of put it in there, it kind of snaps the blade into place, but it's not like a lock when it's done. It's just as the blade's going in. Thing I notice about the blade here is that to me it seems like a lot of blade exposure, especially on this side. Now, looking at the other side, I've put blades in and taken them out a few times now, and at least on mine, it almost seems as if there's more blade exposure on one side than the other, but I could be mistaken. It actually is, it's pretty darn close. So blade goes in pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the shave. So let me wet my face and I'll talk more. Okay, so I am going to be doing a full shave with this, and you know, we can call it a review or whatever. Typically, I hate to truly review something the first time I've ever used it. However, I'm going to know, you know, right away if it's going to be a definite lose for me. And if it goes great, then that's a good sign that that's a huge win. The biggest thing about this razor, you know, slant bar, usually a little bit more aggressive. But this one has super light weight to it. All right, loading up a ton of soap. Sometimes when I load up soap and talk, I get carried away, but got a ton there. And it's only 15 grams. So if that doesn't really mean too much to you, a gram is roughly like a paper clip. So I tried to measure out something that's very close to 15 grams total in weight, and it's about 3/4. Although 3/4 in your hand actually feels a little bit heavier than this razor, simply because, you know, the weight is just centered in one spot on your hand, and with the razor you kind of have it laid out, you know, like in the palm of your hand. So there's very little weight to it, almost none. But still, if it's efficient, then that's a great thing. I know that some people really like light razors, some people like really heavy razors. I'm kind of somewhere in between, so I'm excited about it. The blade gap and blade exposure to me looks like a lot, especially for someone like me who really likes mild razors, but perhaps the super lightweight will be really beneficial in that. Alright, my lather looks beautiful. In case you were wondering, this is Phoenix High Jump 47 shaving soap. I wanted, since it is a first use, I wanted to make sure, first of all, that I had something I knew was going to be consistent, that I knew how it would perform, and also that I knew I could really trust. So Let me fill up my sink and get ready for this shave. Okay, I am ready for the shave, but first thing I wanted to mention before I got into that was the box. The box, usually for packaging and stuff, on a soap it's really important. We like the label, but for a razor, not typically. This is an exception to that rule. This box is really, really, really cool looking. It has a nice nostalgic look to it. It's got lots of sayings all over it, writing all over it, and it's just really cool. It's nice packaging. Anyone who gets this is certainly going to keep that box, whereas other people might just not particularly care about the box. Razor has what feels like a nice coating over it, over the plastic, so it feels like it's going to glide over your face. We'll see if that's the case. Slant bars, you do have to adjust for your sideburns if you want to keep them straight. I've used a few slants before. Typically, because they're aggressive, I just can't use them every day. Right? Angle wasn't hard to find there at all. Just gotta kind of tweak it a little bit. There we go. Cool. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this first pass. Trying to apply no pressure and just letting this razor do the work. So this, as I've heard, this slant is based on a vintage Bakelite razor that was being sold a while back. It is efficient, and apparently those were really, really hard to get and were really successful, and so Fine has recreated that design, or tried to tribute to that design. I guess the head is very similar, the handle's different. I don't have one of those, so I don't know, but it was also a very light razor. And people have been talking about this thing for quite a while, and so when I saw it actually went for pre-order, I had to get one. So just on this cheek, pretty good. I'm trying to just really let this razor do the work. These, by the way, they are selling for $30 through Fine. You can find their website. I don't know if it's on the box or not. It is fineaccoutrements.com. $30 and then plus shipping. So I think for me it was about $36 or $37, which seems a little. Once you feel it, it's very much like a toy. So that seemed a little steep for me for what this is, but it's not steep for really the price of a good razor. Especially a slant bar razor. When I think about the other slants out there, of course I couldn't name them all, but like the Mercora 37C, it's probably about a $50 razor. The Razor Rock Stealth Slant, which you can't get. If you found one that somebody was going to sell, you'd pay at least about $150 for it. So a good slant razor, and I know there are others out there, but in this range for $30, you're not going to find any other slant razor. Alright, so far this is cutting pretty good. I'll go ahead and continue on with this first pass, just for the sake of time. Okay, first pass down with a Superlite slant razor. Very, very, very good. Certainly not a one-pass wonder, but very, very efficient. I feel like if this thing had too much weight to it, it would be a shredder. Very pleased with it. I worked really, really hard to put absolutely zero pressure on, and that seemed to go real well. I'm thinking that if you are new to wet shaving and you don't have a technique down good, I'd stay away from this thing. It would really, really tear you up. So I'm going to get going with the second pass. Now, yeah, I feel a lot of blade on this thing. Don't know if you can hear it or not, but there is a good amount of audible feedback. You can hear it cutting pretty good. This is an Astra blade, by the way, a brand new Astra blade. That's kind of my go-to, so I put it in everything to start out. I wouldn't start off with a feather. And from what I've gotten so far from this razor, I don't know that I would ever put a feather in it. But as you can hear, it's definitely cutting. It's certainly not shaving like a toy. Alright, I'm going to continue on with this second pass. Second pass down with the Superlite, and very good so far. Definitely a third pass could be in order. It's an efficient shaver, but it's not so efficient that that it even gets those trouble spots for me. That's the biggest difference between a like a super aggressive or efficient razor for me is going to be that it takes care of, like, for me it's like right in there under my neck, then here, and then here and here. Those are like those trouble spots for me where I have to go against the grain with, and certain razors just won't do that at all. This one might, we'll see. Soap and everything else is doing great. It being so light really has not affected me. I haven't been discouraged, or I haven't felt the need to apply pressure. Probably just because it's the first time using it and I'm being overly aware. What will happen is a month from now, I'll think I have it mastered, and I'll get real cocky with it, and I'll end up applying too much pressure and hating myself for a month. But it's cutting real good. Pre passes down, and after a hot water rinse and a cold water rinse, I do have to say that I actually got a very, very, very nice shave. I'm going to go ahead and apply some of my witch hazel. So let's start just going over all the points from the very beginning. The razor, $30 from Fine Accoutrements, $30 plus shipping. Polymer razor, which means plastic. Appears to be coated, and it shaves really well. The packaging, absolutely terrific. Came very fast. As far as, do I think this is worth it? Just on shave alone, it did an absolute wonderful job shaving. I did enjoy the shave. I got a close shave. I'm very happy with it. Still, it feels like a toy. Feels like something my kids would get in like a little set that I would look at and say, oh wow, that looks like a cool razor. But again, it shaves terrific. It's light. It's modeled after something that's very light, so I'm not going to discredit it for that. So for $30, I don't know how much it costs to produce these things. They are made in China. I'm guessing the initial cost is a lot more than the ongoing production, but I'd have to say the box probably costs more to make than the actual razor. And then shipping on it was like $6 or $7. I can't remember, but I thought that was a little high. I thought the shipping was high for just this razor, but that doesn't affect the razor. Shaves really well. I felt like a lot of blade gap. I could feel a lot of blade on there. However, I don't feel like my face got ripped up at all. I just got a nice, comfortable shave. I did enjoy it. Other things about this razor: 3 pieces. The handle screws off real easy. One thing I did want to mention, in case you didn't see the other video, it is a metal post here, and it screws into like a metal base that is inside the plastic. That's real nice. It fits together real good. As far as durability, time's going to tell on this thing. If I had one concern, it would be that the metal post is going to break off of the top cap. Now, it might never happen, or it could happen. I just, that's the only concern I see with it. I feel like I could drop this on the ground. It's not going to break. I feel like that would be fine. Other thing about the handle, and it does all fit together very well. The handle, the threading on it is a standard thread. So, for example, I took off the handle on this ball end tech razor, and I screwed that on there, and it did go on just fine. Fit on there, you could do that. So if you wanted some more weight, you could. My only concern with that is that because the head is so light, remember 15 grams altogether, which means that, and a bulk of that is in this handle, that this head here probably only weighs about 3 grams, so it's nothing at all. For me, I may experiment with a different handle, but like I said, I felt quite a bit of blade, so any weight behind it I feel might actually hinder it. With only one shave, as far as a review, do I recommend this razor? If you want to try it, go ahead. You're going to have a hard time finding a different slant razor for less than this. Obviously the Above the Ties are super high-end, $185. Like I said, the Merkur slant is going to be about $50. There are other slants out there, but this one for $30, if you want a slant razor, this gives you a good idea of what a slant does. It's efficient. I think they're very smooth. If you have a lot of beard growth or thick, coarse hair, you're probably going to like it. So if you have any questions about this razor or anything I used today, there's something I left out, please let me know. But if you're looking for one of these, fineaccoutrements.com. And it is a very neat idea, and I'm glad I got to shave with it. If I come up with anything else in the next couple months after using it, I'll definitely post another video with more of kind of a summative review of it. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time with another video. Bye.